This is Andrew with the Chosen Prime with a video preview of FansToys FT08 Grinder, or their take on a larger, more detailed version of Masterpiece Grimlock. One of the main reasons that FansToys has gone ahead and made Grinder here is that compared to the official MP08 Masterpiece Grimlock here on the right, their versions of the Dinobots like Soar, Sever, Scoria are much taller than this Grimlock over here. I don't have the boots that come with Scoria to kind of show you how much higher MP08 would be with boots. But here you can see that a Grinder on the left is a higher and taller figure. And I'll get to some other FansToys Dinobot comparisons in a little bit. But to show you overall height here for Grinder, Grinder is about 10.5 inches to the top of his ears here. And so he's considerably taller than the official product here on the right. I will note that I unfortunately do not have the knockoff version of Grimlock, Reximus Prime, which is an oversized version of MP08 here. But when compared to Grinder here on the left, Reximus Prime is maybe a ½ inch taller than Grinder here, so you're not getting a whole lot, much more size from Reximus Prime, and you're getting a whole lot more articulation out of Grinder here. So let's go ahead and show off some of the detail here for Grinder. So I will note that this is a pre-production sample of Grinder, so this isn't the retail release, but it's pretty much final. You can tell here, just even in this preview form, it does look like a nice, accurate Masterpiece Grimlock. Get some nice bits of chrome on his chest, and these jewels here on the claws on the hands. The gray is correct. Nice bits of silver and paint detail kind of throughout. Clear details. He's got his wings. Here's his legs. You can see that they're very clean. Overall, they hide the back of the T-Rex mode very well. And just overall, all the colors and kind of details match. I did get a bunch of accessories with Grinder here, so he does come with his sword. It's a full hilted sword, unlike the one for MP08, and it would light up with some LEDs and batteries. He also comes with his gun here, which also will light up if you had the batteries for it. The little pieces he comes with, he does come with a die-cast crown, and so there's just one little kind of divot part here, and that's just fit it on his head here, and he can wear his crown. Nice, matches the same chrome here. He comes with an alternate head, so by default he's got this blue eyes here, so they come with a one with a red visor, and it's just a matter of kind of either popping off the ball joint, but I might recommend kind of loosening up the screws in the back here, and we can switch around to the red eyes if you want him to be kind of an angrier Grimlock. He also comes with two accessories for his T-Rex mode, an alternate head for the, or top of the head for the T-Rex, and I'll show that off, as well as alternate eye colors. In addition, Soar's going to come with some additional accessories for the previous FansToys Dinobots. You actually get some different heads, so the first head here is a different set of faces for Soar. And I'll show this off on the actual figure here in a little bit. But these are more cartoon accurate faces. He actually, for Soar, you actually get additional kind of knee pieces here. These are pieces that were the original Soar that were prone to breakage, and these are made out of die cast the same way that his crown is. You get a separate kind of animation accurate face for Scoria, so you can put that on your Scoria. And they also give us a second whole head here for Sever, their version of Snarl. So they've done a nice job here of kind of giving us everything to make and finalize up the FansToys Dinobots. As far as articulation for Grinder, his head is on a ball joint, so it can look around. And it actually is on a little pivoting hinge, so you can look forward and back a little bit as well. The arms this time are on a ratchet, nice strong ratchet inwards as well as outwards. You get a little bit more option there from Grinder. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow here, so you actually can curl his arms more than MP08. These claws are individually and separate, so they can move forward and back, in and out of the way. The hands now actually have fingers and digits, unlike MP08. So you get a little options there, and you can actually rotate the fist. And it does easily, just like the other ones, it'll hold his weapons just with a peg system, nice and securely. He's got a ratcheting waist. The entire waist piece here is a nice strong ratchet, and these are heavy legs. Overall, this figure is 2 pounds 6 ounces, so he's a big, heavy figure. This is die cast here, there's die cast in the legs, and you see that he can hold his leg up nice and strong there. Outward hinge, very strong, nice knee bend here. He does have a strong toe and kind of ankle articulation here, as well as this heel spur. So you can get some nice poses out of him. And just overall, it's kind of a better, more detailed version of Masterpiece Grimlock. So let's go show off some poses for this guy. Posing Grinder is pretty fun and nice and secure. Again, all the nice joints and the way that the ankles tilts work, you can get some really strong looking poses from Grinder. He just looks a lot meaner. Again, a lot more sturdy. He can actually lean forward to kind of get a lunging pose. His hands actually do a great job of actually holding and pegging the weapons together. This is another added benefit here for Grinder. And just the rotating fists. Overall, just a really solid looking Masterpiece Grimlock here in his robot mode. Comparing posability between Grinder and MP08, I will note the MP08 here on the right is a lot more kind of loose. It's hard to balance him in this position. Unlike Grinder, Grinder's a lot more secure, a lot more heavier. And also your other benefits here, this is overall looks a bit more natural for Grinder than it does for MP08. You do get ratcheted shoulders. The hands can actually peg in and hold the guns with their fingers versus kind of a loose peg system on both of these. And just overall, I think here Grinder on the left looks a bit more natural and a lot more imposing than MP08. So the only FansToys Dino I have to show off the new head with is Soar here, the version of Swoop. So here you can see there's the original face on Soar, the more neutral face, and then he does have the, we flip this around, push it back, there is his original happy face. And here's the new neutral face once it's installed. You can see it's a bit slimmer, a bit more card accurate for comparison. Here is that older face. You can see they originally had a kind of little chin strap, a bit more square jaw. And then flipping the new head around, here's his kind of smiling face, the new one they've included with Grinder. And then again, for comparison, here is his old smiling face. Again, a bit more squared off jaw, a bit less cartoon accurate than the new face. Grinder's transformation is somewhat thematically similar to MP08, but there's some different little improvements overall to kind of help him keep locked together. To start, we'll come to his hands here. We want to pull down on this little panel here, curl the fist and fingers, and then rotate the fist in, and then this will peg back in together, hiding the hand. Do it on the other side, again, just rotate in the hand, and this will peg in securely. Come to the legs, and unlike MP08, there's a cover here that we want to open up that hides the T-Rex tail. We want to unfurl it, so this will, and this part will peg together, and it'll rotate outward. The foot part here, this will fold up, and we want to rotate the leg so that we can fold the leg in on itself at this hinge here. And now the leg will, this panel here, there's actually a sliding hinge here that we want to make sure, you can see we can pull this out here, that we can collapse around the leg, and then that hinge will kind of collapse it further, finishing one half of the tail. So come to the other side again, open up this panel, unfold the tail, and just stretch it out, pretty standard. Come to the toe pieces here, fold them up, rotate the leg around, and then fold it in on itself. Take this panel again, and the hinge, and we will make sure that it collapses fully. We can now peg the two halves of the legs together. It's a matter of kind of getting it all lined up and pegged together. There's many pegs along the tail and the top here. Now we can come to the torso. We come to this panel here that pegs into the chest, and there's actually an improvement over MP08. Normally on MP08 this is a little bit loose. This actually locks it all down on Grinder here. We want to lift this up and then peel back the torso piece, and it'll hinge downwards. into the lower part of the body here. The head piece here will fold back in, and you can see there's actually a little bit of kind of these two little channels here for these pieces. They don't need to match up perfectly. Take these halves here and fold them in and peg them into the chest. Very similar to MP08. And they'll peg together. Take the head. The head will put forward, rotate around, and it'll peg in there. These pieces that were part of the feet, they have matching peg holes on the back here that we want to peg these into, securing the tail. And there's actually a little piece here. These panels here actually slide forward just ever so slightly. You can see to kind of cover that gap on both sides. So again, you can see the gap that's there, and by pushing up on this, it kind of closes that gap. Now it's just a matter of kind of getting all his limbs posed correctly. For his dino legs, I recommend kind of having the ankle go backwards like this. And here's Grinder in his robotic T-Rex mode. Again, very evocative of G1 Grimlock in his dino mode. His tail here can rotate side to side. He can be posed leaning forward if you get the balance correctly on his legs. So if you want to have him be kind of a more modern T-Rex with his tail off the ground, you can pose him that way. Just takes a little bit of effort, but there you can see you can get him posed with his tail in the air. His arms here are on both the ball joint as well as a swivel. There is a hinge here to move the arm around. The hands can rotate, and then there's 3 individual fingers. So there's an improvement in posability there. His lower legs here, just like MB8, can rotate to the side. His individual claws can actually lift up into places if you like. The head here is on a stiff joint. He can lift his head up quite a bit, and then the jaw can open considerably wide. And he does have that little kind of fire cannon in his mouth here. And so this is a default kind of forehead, crest, as well as the metallic blue eyes. The alternative, if you like, is you can pull off on this piece and or the blue metallic eyes here. And he does come with both red eyes as well as this new kind of forehead piece that's got these kind of spiked eyebrows here, you can see, to kind of make him look a bit more menacing. That matches better if you want a kind of a more angrier Grimlock overall. Nice little bonus that FansToys kind of added with this figure. So let's go ahead and take a look at some comparisons for this guy. Comparing Grinder and MP08 in their T-Rex modes, you can see that Grinder here on the left is much larger than MP08. You can see that Grinder here is about 10 inches to the top of his head, which is a much larger overall dinosaur mode than MP08. And a lot more details overall, kind of a bit thicker and chunkier proportions. The tail here is fully grown a little bit longer on Grinder. Other little features are that Grinder's mouth can open a lot further than MP08. And just overall, this is an excellent T-Rex mode. Comparing Grinder with kind of the golden standard of Masterpieces, MP10, you can see the FansToys version of Grimlock is a nice larger scale compared to MP10. And then MP10, of course, is a bit taller than the original MP08. And so I think here this shows off just how well FansToys version of Grimlock kind of fits better as an overall updated version of your Masterpiece Autobots. Alternate mode comparisons. You can see how Grinder here stacks up next to MP10 in his truck mode. Nice scale comparison here. Comparing Grinder here with some previous FansToys Dinobots. Here we've got Soar, the version of Masterpiece Swoop, and Stomp, the version of Masterpiece Sludge. Grinder here is just slightly taller than Stomp on the left, maybe 1/8 of an inch, but overall his mass is bigger than Stomp, and so to me he looks like a better leader version of the FansToys Dinobots. And he's got this right amount of kind of overall detail and design and kind of build to kind of sit great side by side with these other FansToys Dinobots to be, you know, a Masterpiece Grimlock for your FansToys Dinobots collection, specifically here in this robot mode. And a comparison of their very massive dinosaur modes here. You can see just how large the trio look here overall, and just how well Grinder fits in with these other Iron Dibots here in his T-Rex mode. Just a solid, nice, big Grimlock for your Masterpiece Dinobot collection. Some final thoughts here for FansToys FT08 Grinder, or their much larger updated take on a Masterpiece-styled Grimlock. Grinder here, as a standalone Grimlock, is a great toy. He has many improvements over the original MP08. He's taller to match, a better scale with MP10. And then if you have the other FansToys Dinobots, he now fits in as being the true leader of the FansToys Iron Dibots. This is just an excellent version of Masterpiece Grimlock. Nice and big, solid joints, nice paint. And then you also get a ton of different accessories from his weapons, different head options. And then, you know, if you do have the other FansToys Dinobots, they have different faces and different replacement parts. Just a really excellent package overall here in Grinder. The Chosen Prime does have Grinder up for pre-order at the moment. The current estimated release date is sometime in December. If you want to kind of finish off your FansToys Dinobots or just get a much larger Grimlock, Grinder here is an excellent toy. He deserves to be part of any Masterpiece collection, so take care.